If you've ever wondered, can AI actually take over your job? This may be the closest thing to it. And I'm going to teach you how to do it so we can learn together and eventually get replaced by AI. What we're going to be doing is training a language model, in this case, ChatGPT, to understand us and the decisions that we would make when it comes to content creation. Now, this can be applied to anything, any kind of process where you need your own input. You can use a language model to predictably create an outcome. So first and foremost, we are going to need to get a prompt. Now, prompt is basically just a backstory of you. What is your decision making? What has influenced you as a creator in this instance? And different things that you normally talk about. So this is the prompt that I'm engineering for when it comes to my content and how I would do it for the purpose of the video. So the first question is, how would you describe your communication style? Are you formal or informal in your speech? And then my answer would be, I would describe my communication style as rough and typically Australian, a no BS approach to the work that I'm doing, and has an underlying theme of education. So that first prompt is figuring out how I actually speak, my vernacular, my tonality. All of these kind of things are taken into consideration by the language model when it's going to start suggesting me content. Secondly, we're going to go through my philosophy of business and no-code automation and operations. So the second question is, can you describe your philosophy or approach to no-code automation? What made you passionate about this field? With my answer being, my approach to no-code is not so much about the technology, it's more about understanding a business and understanding where their customer journey is and where they are operationally and where I can kind of take. So it's feeding the information about what I really focus on when it comes to my business and where I want to take people. The more detailed you are with these answers, by the way, the better the prompt will be. I also gave it my working history, and it asked me the two biggest takeaways from my last two employers and how they're influencing my current approach to business. So the major ones was Apple taught me how to be empathetic, and Deloitte taught me that people get paid a lot to do a little. Moving on to the next question, could you share some specific experiences or anecdotes from your time as a personal trainer that influence your professional path? Now, I'm replying to this as a human, so I'm assuming it's someone interviewing me because that's the most natural responses that I can potentially give. So I shared the story of how I would wake up at 4 a.m. to train clients, and it taught me that people pay for value and outcomes, not in exchange just for timed services. The next question, how do you typically structure your thoughts when it comes to explaining complex topics, sharing insights? And I said, no real structure. I just start explaining, I'm doing it right now, and whatever comes to mind first. It seems to work because I get told I'm a good which is true by you guys. Thanks. If I'm doing a good job, let me know, please. It really helps. Validate. So the next question is about one of my hobbies, because I mentioned that I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the original prompt that I asked ChatGPT for these questions. Because you can actually ask ChatGPT, give me 10 questions that you would need to know the answers to in order to generate a prompt that sounds like me. So, and I gave it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of my hobbies. And it asked, how does it influence my business philosophy or practices? And I explained here that people quit way before they're actually submitted. And this applies to staff members and clients too. At the point where they're actually unhappy and depart a service is not the point where they have actually decided they don't like the service. So in this situation, it's understanding when someone's disengaged, when someone isn't quite getting the full service from your company. You need to understand where that point actually occurs. How do you like to engage with your audience on your YouTube channel? Do you have a specific tone or presenting content? Still kind of figuring out. I'm kind of speaking in a weird voice sometimes, but I still try and come across as authoritative and natural. How would you describe your sense of humor? Do you incorporate humor into your content and or presentations? Yes. Next question, what are some of the key messages or ideas that you often emphasize or come back to in your content? Always start with the resources that you have. The customer should always be at the forefront of your decision making. I'm not always right. Operation is a bigger part of that is operational excellence. Automation is a bigger part that is operational excellence. Finally, are there any other unique, notable aspects of your personality, experience, communication style that are important to representing you? I wear a hat all the time. I'm experienced death a fair bit in my life, so I'm probably a little bit wiser for my age. I think very deeply of the meaning of existence, and I tie my self-worth sometimes with my business, which is just me being vulnerable with you. And this is the prompt. So I'm gonna leave it here for a second. You can pause it if you do so please, and you can see what it has spat out for me. I should also note that I've added some of my YouTube titles because I was using this to create content. I've added some YouTube titles for it to reference my kind of style when it comes to creating videos. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually take it to ChatGPT and see the results that it brings us. So I am just going to paste this straight into here. And at the bottom here, it's gonna say, please generate me 3 YouTube video titles and ideas that you can make suggestions about the people who are watching my content. So let's have a look. All right, the results are in. So the first video title, automation versus the customer journey, getting the balance right. This is actually a fantastic concept for a video, and I'm probably gonna make this. So basically it takes the where do you automate and where do you do things manually argument in and puts it at the forefront of the video. So the introduction start with a brief description of your journey from the Apple store floor to Deloitte's corporate world. Use a humorous anecdote to highlight the transition. With prompts like that, I can now think back to stories from that actual transition period and apply them into my YouTube video. Establishing the problem, discuss common misconceptions and fears about automation taking over the human aspect of business operations, which is a very real thing that I speak to business owners about every day, is they don't want to lose their customer service focus when it comes to automation, and they want to keep it authentic. Customer journey, share a real life example from your Apple Store days about the importance of customer-centric options. I have these in troves, so I can share that information. Automation and customer journey, explain how automation can actually help improve the customer journey by reducing human errors, increasing efficiency, and allowing businesses to focus more on customer service. Fantastic prompt. How to do it right, provide a step-by-step guide on how to integrate automation while keeping customers at the heart of decision-making, drawn from your experiences at Deloitte, which is 100% true. And then conclusion, end with an analogy to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, emphasizing perseverance, adaptation, and growth. I think that's actually a fantastic video concept, and it's probably something that I will make a video on next. Now, taking this information and using it on a day-by-day basis, it's not going to be perfect, but there are ways that you can use this to inspire you to get through potential creative ruts, inspire you to take action when you simply can't be bothered, or if you're just someone who really just likes a little bit of a head start, then can build once they have a kind of template. Now, if you want to stick around for the automation side of this video, then 100% stay in. I'm going to walk through how I'm going to use this in my personal business and how you can potentially apply it to yours as well. So what we are going to do here is I make a new video, or at least I try to, every Thursday. So I want on every Thursday morning a prompt to be sent to me in Slack, which is my nucleus for my business, with the information that we just saw. So I'm going to set up a schedules app where every week on a Thursday, I'm gonna get a new prompt for my video. The next step is taking OpenAI and sending it our prompt. So all I'm gonna paste in here is exactly what we sent here before. So please generate me 3 YouTube video titles and ideas that can make the suggestions more about the business people who are watching my content. So then it's going to send me those 3 messages in Slack. We're going to press continue and give it a test. So it's only given me the 3 titles and I want some ideas in there as well. So I'm going to adjust the prompt a little bit to make sure that I get those ideas too. So I'm going to retest that action. I've just added in, write some ideas about the actual video as well. So because this information isn't quite exactly what we want it to be, because it's just doing the titles, the difference here is using GPT 3.5 and this is using GPT 4. So there is going to be a difference in its ability to spit out actual decent information. So what I'm gonna have to do is take that and then feed it into GPT 4 when I get the prompt, which is great because the biggest issue for me is coming up with just that spark, that one video idea. And if I copy this style of information and I have that saved, I can paste that back into GPT with the new title and say, give me an example framed like this. It will give me an example framed like that. So the last step is to add in a Slack message. I'm just going to select send channel message and I've selected my account here. And then I've just got this Matthew Lambourne build channel that I use for random junk. And then I'm going to put the output from GPT in here. We're going to send it as a bot. The bot name is going to be Alan, the AI ideas guy, and robot face as the icon, and we will not include a link to the Zap because it just makes it bulky. And then we're going to continue, and then we're just going to press test action. And if you see here, we can see the ideas that have come through. So that's going to come through to me every single Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Now, the biggest thing with automation and operations is understanding what is actually valuable to automate and what is not essentially worth your time. So when it comes to automation, this little tiny Zap that I've set up is probably going to save me a bunch of time. But I'm not out here trying to get it 100% perfect with all the bells and whistles, writing my entire script, because I know that's going to take away from the authenticity of my content. So instead of trying to make it rewrite the whole internet and do something crazy and do backflips, I'm just using it to generate prompts, because a prompted Matthew is one step ahead of an uninspired Matthew. And I know that if I harness that I can get more done, make mistakes quicker, and succeed quicker. And that's how I think you should approach automation and operations in your business too. Try and make mistakes really quickly, start where you are, and don't overdo it. Bye.